Phoenix Rising by Michael Anastas. When we landed back in San Manuel, the first thing we did was find the closest hotel we could, which had a dining hall big enough for a victory party. Ash was depressed for about an hour, but then he got over it and joined in. It was then that each and every one of us, except Serge, had our first shots of vodka. "On three," said Merlin. 1, 2, 3. We held our glasses in the air and downed our drinks together. It was one of the most vile beverages I'd ever tasted. I guess that's for the better, because I haven't had a beer since my first one ever again. "Smooth!" Ash choked. "Damn!" Brock wheezed. "What the hell is this crap?" Misty shouted. Faith smiled. "One of the untold lessons of the Phoenix School. Your first alcoholic beverage should be the most vile you can find, because then the chances of someone becoming an alcoholic are slim." Ash caught his breath and set his glass down on the table. "Well, if that was the absolute worst there is..." He turned to the bartender. "Bartender! We'll have another bottle over here!" Merlin rolled his eyes and set down his glass. 10 years, over 100,000 students, and this is the first time I've encouraged alcohol. Cassie sat down at the same table as him. "Don't worry, he'll quit after his first hangover." Brock sat down beside her with a bottle of wine. "Maybe the two of us could toast to romance? Please?" Brock left for his room with some teeth missing, a little before Faith and I went up to our room on the 5th floor and stood on the balcony, probably to wait for the sunrise, which wasn't scheduled for 3 hours. Faith smiled and leaned up against my shoulder. I pointed to what appeared to be a yellow star. "You see that?" I asked with a smile. "That's Venus, the goddess of light." I put my arm around her shoulders. "That's you." Faith smiled innocently. "I'm flattered. Hot, poisonous, and deadly. Yes, every woman would love to be Venus." She broke free of my hold and walked back into the bedroom, and only then did I catch my mistake. "Shit!" I whispered through clenched teeth. "Stupid, stupid me!" "Don't curse at yourself," Faith said as she came back onto the balcony. "It's not healthy." I smiled innocently. "It's not healthy to think one is perfect either." Faith wrapped her arms around my neck, and if it hadn't been for the one vodka I'd downed, I would have been very discomforted. "I think you're perfect." I did my best not to laugh as I gently placed my hands on her shoulders. "No, I'm not. I'm an idiot, just like I was on the Melbourne." Faith smiled. "But you were a fool out of love." And that was when she kissed me. Not a little lick like she would normally do. A real human kiss on the lips, and one that lasted. It was then that the vodka wore off, and I backed away. "Okay, this isn't right," I stammered, wide-eyed, not able to believe what had just happened. "What's not right?" "Faith, it just doesn't seem right." "It never seems right, does it? You can't love me because of what I am?" I found the perfect answer, walked back up to her, and placed my hands on her shoulders. "Faith, I love you like a sister." There was silence. "And that's why it seems strange for us to be lovers." Faith took a few steps back. "You don't think we could be lovers because you don't see me as Faith, an individual." "Of course you are!" I pleaded. "You're 1 in a million!" "That's not what I meant." She turned back to me. "Do you see me as Faith, the girl, or Faith, the Ninetails, addicted to human behavior?" She'd caught me. It was true that I loved her like a sister, but she'd caught me. "Faith, you're a Ninetails. You can't change that. I can't change that. Only God himself could change the way we are, and he is unwilling to do so." Faith sat down on the bed. "And that's the real reason." "No." I knew what she would say, so I told the exact truth. "It's part of the reason, but..." Faith took a deep breath and hefted her Pokeball. "I guess that's just how it is. I'm your Pokemon. No changing that." She pressed the button and disappeared into the Pokeball before I could stop her. I considered calling her out, but decided it would only make things worse. I set her Pokeball down on the dresser, fell back on the bed, and cursed the very god I'd once worshipped. Inside the Pokeball, Faith was doing the same thing. "Because I'm a Pokemon," she said to nobody. "Because of something I can't change, I'm forbidden to fall in love. I'm more humane than some humans, and it doesn't matter." She settled down on the bottom of the ball and closed her eyes. "He barely feels comfortable getting licked by me." Merlin probably had to shove him onto the stage at the Melbourne. He can say he loves me, and he probably does, but we're not allowed to love each other because he's a human and I'm a Pokemon. I'm supposed to battle for him, not to love him. Faith turned over onto her belly, her 9 tails sticking up in the air. If I was only human, if I was human, there would be nothing to keep us from being close. She smiled. No obstacles could get in our way. We could go out on dates if we wanted. Hell, we could get married if we wanted. Have kids and grow old together. She opened her eyes, which fell instantly upon her paws. But it will never happen, will it? She closed her eyes, and a small river of a tear came down from her eyes. Oh, how I wish I was human, she said, aware that only she could hear her. At least nobody should have been able to hear her, but she woke up with a voice inside of her head. A deep bass voice telling her the exact opposite of her thoughts.
That can be arranged.
I woke up before dawn, remembered the argument with Faith, and cursed myself as I pulled myself out of the bed. I closed the door to the bathroom, lifted the toilet seat, took care of business, and went back into the bedroom. What I saw struck me with awe and horror at the same time. There, standing on the porch, was a woman 18 years of age, dressed in a cloud-gray dress. Her hair was golden and flowed down upon her shoulders. Her eyes were indigo blue, and her skin was snow white. She turned to face me as I came in, smiled, and opened the door. I took a step back. First things first, this is a reserved hotel room, and breaking and entering is a worldwide crime. I didn't break in, she said in a flowing voice. I've been with you all along. What? Who? I'm your guardian angel. I'm here to protect you. She stepped up close to me, and I stepped back, nearly knocking over a lamp. Who are you really? Tell me the truth. I told you, I'm your guardian angel. I'm your pride, honor, and belief in God, and now I can remain here with you. My pride, honor, and belief in... For the first time ever, I knew what it was like to be filled with the purest of horror. Faith! I shouted. Oh, Faith, tell me your... Faith, she said with a smile. You always said that we couldn't be together because I was a Pokemon. Well, I fixed that, Michael. I got my wish. Now we can truly be together, closer than ever. Your wish? It was then that I knew my fear to be overwhelming. Oh God, tell me the wraiths didn't come! The human Faith smiled. You were wrong to hunt them down. They're miracle workers, the wraiths are. I just made one wish, and they granted it upon me. She came up to me and wrapped her arms around my shoulders. Isn't this what you've always wanted? For us to be together? For there to be nothing that could separate us? No, I stammered. No, this is different. This is so much worse. How? How can you not see that they have granted your wish as well? She smiled at me. Come with me, Michael. Let me show you just how wonderful the wraiths are. No! No! I freed myself from her hold, ran for the door, and tripped over the coffee table. Please, don't come near me! You cannot run, Michael. I have waited my entire life for this moment. I scrambled to my feet. Get away from me! Please! Faith took one step closer, and in my desperate attempt to escape, I kicked down the door which blocked my way. The door fell most of the way to the ground, struck the wall, and with it, the door to Sabrina's room, blocking it off. I stumbled down the hall, screaming, aware the doors of every hotel would open to find the source, including that of Merlin. He came out just as Faith was passing by and asked her, What was that? Faith smiled. There's an insane asylum down the street. It happens sometimes. Merlin yawned and closed the door as I bolted out the doors of the upper-class hotel into the pouring rain, ignoring all pain, physical and mental, that my body withstood. I ran as far as my feet would take me, as far as I could get from San Manuel before I collapsed on the hard road. Faith had wished to be human so she could love me, and in doing so, she had become my enemy.